PCWizKid has one of the fastest graphic cards on the planet from MSI, the GTX 780 Twin Frozer, the gaming edition. Here it is, as you can see in the flesh. We've got in the box here the GeForce GTX from NVIDIA. We're talking about a GTX 780 that is basically a toned down version from the Titan, which so many of you might have heard of. And essentially, this GPU still has 2,304 CUDA cores. Okay, we're talking about lots of power and capabilities on this thing, and we're going to look at it more in detail. But the card itself is a beauty, as you can see here. It is a little bit large, about 10.5 inches on the PCB, the board itself. Of course, it's got the twin Frozer fans, those beautiful fans that are to keep things cool and quiet. This is basically a thermal design that is best in class for cooling capability, and these dual 10 centimeter power managed fans have this propellered blade technology that are going to just slice through the air and really push the air out, deflecting all of that heat. You can see the copper heat pipes, the 6 and 8 pin power connector there, the huge heat sink on the inside, which of course the pipes are going in. And I do like that the pipes are nickel plated for looks, so it's very nice to see that. And as well, we've got high quality construction on that case as well, so it doesn't feel cheap or flimsy. We're talking about high quality. Here are the outputs: 2 DVI out, you've got your HDMI standard and your DisplayPort standard plug, so you don't need any mini cable adapters and things like that. In the box, of course, you're going to get some stuff. Here are some power connectors in case you have an older power supply, and a DVI to VGA connector in case you have an older monitor, and of course a converter there from 6 pin to 8 pin, again in case you need that. Now in the box also you've got the manual user guide, drivers. The gaming app is really nice as well. We're going to look at that more in detail in just a second. The system that I'm running this on is a powerful one, an Intel Core i7 of course. Here are all the specs. This is a beauty. I have reviewed this machine separately in other videos. If you're interested, I'll add the link below. And of course, here we are in Windows 8. You can see here the GK110, that's the GPU, and of course 28 nanometer architecture, 384-bit bus width. So you know you're going to get a lot of bandwidth here pushing through, a lot of data, and it's going to have lots of capabilities for that surround triple monitor setup with 3 gigs basically of GDDR5 memory. There are the GPU core memory and the boost speeds in case you're wondering. Now the advertised speeds of course can be enabled by using the gaming app, and I'll show you that in a second. It's got 3 different modes to enable different clock speeds. Here are the default power and temperature readings that I've got here again on idle and full load, so it gives you a good idea depending on your ambient room temperature, of course, and the power draw for this machine when it's on idle and full load, so you get, again, an idea. Now, overclocking, like I mentioned, you got to be careful. If you don't know what you're doing, stick with the gaming app from NVIDIA, which comes on the CD, and here it is, the MSI gaming app. When you click on any of these modes, you will see, obviously, the core clock, the memory clock, the boost change. Okay, so silent mode obviously will underclock it, keep it quiet, cool. Gaming mode is what I showed you earlier, the defaults, and then of course the overclock mode has the higher clock speed. But of course MSI has the Afterburner software that you can use as well. Now, looking at some synthetic benchmarks, starting with 3D Mark, you can see here the comparison scores, and here on Extreme I have side by side the default clock, and on the right hand side the overclocked scores. You can see how by overclocking it further you can get a boost in performance. On 3D Mark Vantage, again looking there at the performance score, the GPU score and the CPU score, and here on 3D Mark 11 you can see the performance score. And how does all of this compare with other GPUs? Well, let me tell you. If we compare against the 660 Ti, the 7970, the 7950, you can see here that the MSI GTX 780 is top of its class with the highest score. On games, of course, you're going to get terrific results on high, ultra high settings. You want things full blast. There's no need to tone down anything. We're talking about enjoying what you've got. And of course, when you're buying top of the line, you expect the best. And here it is, again, running on Far Cry 3. You can see I'm running things on Ultra. And again, you can have this single monitor. You can have it surround with 3 triple monitor display. You know, Far Cry really does push it to the max, especially when you have it on the ultra high or on surround settings. I do have here Tomb Raider, and I did run the built-in benchmarks again on these display settings, so you can see exactly what I have. On the 1080p, you can see there the minimum, max, and average. If I overclocked it, again at 1080p, you can see the boost in performance right there. It jumped. On the triple monitor setup there, you can see here the frames per second that I'm getting, which are pretty decent considering that it's on very high settings. Here's another game, Crysis. We're looking at Crysis 3 on very high. Again, excellent results on single monitor and triple monitor display on these resolutions, as you can see. And of course, one of my favorites, Battlefield 3. Again, terrific results, no doubt about it, on ultra high and very high settings depending on how many monitors. So again, I mean, what can I say? This is top of the line, top of its class. Great card from MSI. Definitely recommend it. I'll add the price and the link to purchasing it below if you're interested. I'd like to thank MSI for providing it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.